Hi YouTube, Timothy Unkert here. In this video, I'm going to review Atom's Markdown Writer extension. A few days ago, I reviewed Emacs Markdown mode, and I've done videos in the past on Markdown. Does seem to be some interest in the channel. It's a great language to learn in that it's easy to learn, and you can easily export it to HTML, PDF, or Word documents, among others. Okay, so let's get started. So to install Markdown Writer, I'm going to go to my settings, which I can do a keyboard shortcut of Control comma to get there, and I would just search for Markdown Writer. Okay, and you'll see that I have Markdown Writer here. It's the second thing that comes up. It's installed. Okay, so I'm going to quit out of here. And once you have it installed, you want to do Control-Shift-P to bring up the commands. And then you want to run a command which is called Markdown Writer. And then let's see, it's called create default key maps. And I spelled it wrong. That's why it's not giving me any suggestions. Markdown Writer, and it will give me the suggestions, create default key maps. I want to run that, which I've run already. And it's going to create this keymap.season file. Now, I just got a duplicate key. So anyways, but because I ran it already. But what you want to do is run this, and then you want to restart Atom. Since I've done that, I'm not going to restart Atom. But what I'm going to do is get started into talking about Markdown Writer. So if I do Control-1, that's going to give me a first level heading. I can do Control-1 through Control-5 will give me an H1 through an H5. There isn't one for an H6, but you don't really use an H6 that much. So this is going to be a review of Markdown Writer, or of the Markdown Writer extension for Atom. Okay. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is links. So let's make a second level heading. That was Control-2 to do that. Links, for getting links, you do Shift-Control-K. And that's going to bring up this nice GUI here where you can enter in the text to be displayed. So let's do a link to Google. And we can enter in the web address, which will be https:// google.com. And then the title, let's also just say a link to Google. And boom, it puts it right in there. It gives you first, well, with Markdown, first you put the link text in square brackets. And then after that, you're going to have typically in parentheses the actual link, and then you might have the title here. This creates a number in square brackets, but then goes down here and actually does the link. And when you convert it with Markdown IT, it does work. So that's just an interesting way that this extension does this. Okay. The second thing I want to talk about is images. So let's do Control-2 for another second level heading and talk about images. And to get images, I'm going to do Control-Shift-I. And that's going to bring up another GUI where you can put the image path, or if you have an image in the same folder or one of the folders, you can choose the local image. So I'm going to do that. And it's going to give me a preview of the actual image here. It's going to tell me the width and the height. Now, I tried changing these. It doesn't seem to do anything. I'm not really sure how that works. But if you know, comment in the comments below. But it didn't seem to do anything when I changed it. But anyway, so I can put in the image path here, and then I can put in the title here or for the alt text. So let's put in something like surprised snowface. If I hit enter, you'll see the alt text goes here between the square brackets, and this is basically your typical image setup. You have, the image address here, and you just have an exclamation point before the image. Okay, so that's images. All right, let's take a look at lists. So do another Control-2 lists. For lists, well, you can start a list with a dash. This is a non-indented list item. And then in the docs, you want to do this is a first level indent. Okay, and then we go further, do a plus. This is a second level indent. Okay, now if we do Control-Shift-M, there is a plugin that's not Markdown Writer. It's Markdown Preview that comes pre-installed in the core with Atom, and the Control-Shift-M lets you basically preview the Markdown and the way it's going to look. So, so you see we have a link here to Google. If we hover over it, we get the title, a link to Google. We've got images here, and then we've got our lists with our indenting. Okay, so if I hit return 3 times, it brings me back down to the normal indenting level. So if we want to do an ordered list item, so we just do a number, say an ordered list item. This isn't all exclusive with lists, but and then we can do an indented list item here. So let's see what that is. So we get the ordered list item and then an unordered list bullet, an indented list item if we do it that way. Okay. So again, if we hit return, it'll eventually bring us back to the regular indent. Okay, this is a cool feature, tables that they have in Markdown Writer. So I can insert a table. So I'm going to do Control-Shift-P, bring up my command, type Markdown Writer, and if I spell it correctly, and then do something like table, and you'll see, oh, I have insert table. Let's click on this one. So I can have 3 rows, 3 columns. Let's do 4 rows and 2 columns. And we'll insert it, and you'll see that we have a table created for us. So this is like table heading 1. Let me go over here, table heading 2, and then if we go down here, we have table data 1, table data 2, table data 3, table data 4, table data 5, and then table data 6. Okay, and if we see this, this gives us the preview of what this is going to look like. Now you notice with 4 rows, it does include the heading, so take that into account, and we have 2 columns coming down. So you can select any amount you want, but it's a nice, quick way to create a table. I really like this feature, and in fact, I should use, hold on, Control-2 to get my heading tables. There we go. All right, so that's a little thing there. Okay, so let's go down further. Okay, so like I said, we do Control-2 headings. So if I want to do headings, let me make a little space here. So I can do Control-1, first level heading, Control-2, second level heading, Control-3, third level heading, Control-4, fourth level heading, Control-5, fifth level heading. Now, if I tried Control-6, because there is an H6, if I try Control-6, there's nothing, so I would have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a 6th level heading. And you can see in the preview here that it creates different defaults for font sizes for each of these. But this is the Markdown preview. This is not Markdown Writer. But anyway, so that's the difference between headings in Markdown. For inline code, let's do Control-2 and just make another heading, second level heading, inline code. So I could say something like the following is inline code, and I'm going to do a control and a single quote. Okay, and that's going to give me the two backticks surrounding what would the inline code be. So I don't know, something like this is a paragraph in HTML, and then I'll close it out. And if we go here, we see in the preview that we've got this. This is a paragraph in HTML. Now with Markdown, if you don't do like inline code and you just do your paragraph tags, well, what's going to happen? Let's actually show you. So I could do this as a paragraph in HTML. So you can write Markdown, or you can write HTML code into Markdown, and it'll just appear like a regular paragraph. So you have to put in code blocks to get it like that. Okay, so that's inline code. And code blocks. There's no keyboard shortcut to do this, but there is something cool with it. So let's do code blocks. So let me write out a code block. I'll do, I don't know, doc type, let's see, HTML, and then we'll tab in. We've got our HTML tag, tab in. We've got our head tag, tab in. We've got a meta character set tag equal to UTF-8. We'll do some title like this web page. Probably not the best title, but you know, what are you going to do? Now, if you see, none of this is showing up, right? So go back, close out our head, because you know the head of the document's not going to show up, right? Close out our HTML, right? So now if I'm somewhere on here and I want to do Control-Shift-P and I want to do Markdown Writer, and then do code, it's going to be toggle code block text. Boom, I get the 3 backticks above and the 3 backticks below, and now it's showing up as a code block. That's nice. I like that. Okay. Block quotes. Okay, block quotes, well, we'll do Control-2, block quotes. There is no keyboard shortcut that I know of, on a Chromebook at least, to do the block quotes, but this is how you do a block quote. So you just do the right key area. So this is a block quote. I'll say something like from Tim. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, there's your block quote. Okay. So yeah, tasks lists. So tasks. I don't use these, but you can use it with this command. You do the command palette, Control-Shift-P, and then you do Markdown Writer, and then type in toggle task, okay? And it'll give you some task, and you can fill this out. Again, I don't really do this, and I don't know what this capture before is, because I haven't used it, but I'm just making you aware of the option, okay? All right, jumping. So you can jump with, you're going to start with Control-J and then Control-P and Control-N to move up headings. So let me save this, and I'll do Control-J and Control-P. And it gives me the option to jump up to different places here, okay? But I haven't used it that much, so I don't know. And yeah, see, so it's not quite working quite right. So I don't know about the jumping. Let's just put here for the review, jumping is going to be questionable. Okay, especially if you're doing this on a Chromebook. I haven't tried this on a Windows machine, so, but I'm using this on a Chromebook here. You can open links. Okay, so I'm going to do open links in browser. So you do Control-Shift-P and then Markdown Writer, and we want to do, see it right here, open link in browser. Okay, so you would use that command. Okay, text styles. Let's do that. So text styles. So if we want to do bold, we want to do Control-B. So this is Control-B, bold. Okay. This is Control-I, italic. That's pretty nice. We can do strike through. This is strike through is Control-H. So Control-H, strike through. Okay. And it gives you what the key, the code is here. So, italic is either a single asterisk on both sides or an underscore on both sides. Strike through is the double approximately on both sides. And you'll see here, and then bold is the double asterisk on both sides. So if you don't know what those are, Control B, Control I, that's pretty easy to remember. Control H for strike through, a little bit harder to remember, but and it's actually probably quicker to do Control H than the double approximately symbol. Okay, and we can also do something like Control Shift P, Markdown writer, and toggle keystroke text. Do that, and we can have this is keystroke text. Okay, and you'll see it formats it a bit differently there. Okay, so that's another thing you can do, which is pretty cool. Table of contents. So you can create a table of contents, and it does have links, but when I've exported it with Markdown IT, it didn't add the IDs. So typically, if you have a link in an HTML document, you're linking to an ID, you have to actually give an ID for the section. So it didn't quite work, but let's do Control Home to go to the top of the document here. And let's now just do a table of contents. We'll do Control Shift P, and we'll do Markdown Writer, and then we'll do TOC, and you're going to get Insert TOC. So that's table of contents. So I clicked on that, and you'll see that we got the table of contents here, and the headings, and then the end of the table of contents. So if we go up to the top here, we see we've got this table of contents here, and it does do the headings. So, but it does all these other things. But with Markdown IT using that, I'll explain why I'm using Markdown IT in a moment to convert. It didn't put in the IDs, so it didn't quite work. So anyways, that's table of contents. To update the table of contents, let's say I put another heading in here, update the table of contents. Let's do Control Home to get back to the top. I'll do Control Shift P, Markdown Writer, and we'll do TOC, and it's going to give me the option Update TOC. And now, let's see, did it update? It did not because I didn't save it. So let's actually do that again. Control Shift P, Markdown Writer. I'll just do TOC, update TOC, and then we say update the TOC. That last heading I got, it was updated to the table of contents. Okay, but again, Markdown IT at least was not adding these IDs. So yeah. Okay, previewing the file, I'm using Markdown Preview, which is built in. Working with a static site generator, you're supposed to be able to work with Jekyll, Octopress, and Hexo, those static site generators, pretty easily. But I haven't explored that yet. Okay, so maybe I'll explore that in a future video. If there's interest in that, comment in the comments below. And then exporting to HTML. So this was an interesting thing that I noticed about Atom recently, and I'll probably file an issue, is when I went to save this file with Markdown Preview, I can right-click and click Save as HTML. I was getting no output. So originally I would say either save as HTML or copy as HTML, copy it to a file. But neither of those were working for me. So what I did is I installed the node package Markdown IT. So to use that, I'd bring up a terminal. I have IV terminal, which is another extension. So I can bring up a terminal here at the bottom, and I can run the command Markdown IT, and then the name of the Markdown file, and do an output and just change it to HTML, and it'll run. And then if I list it out, now I have this blank markdown doc.html created. I can get out of here. Let's close out this preview here. And if I want to open the file, I go down here where the file's created, and I've got my HTML. Now I still have to add the head of the HTML document, but that's pretty easy because Atom has some Emmet support built in. So if I do something like HTML and hit tab, I've got a basic head of the document. I just can cut this off here and do Control End to get to the bottom here and paste it. And then if I want to go back, I can do Control Home, and I can modify this, put in a title, description, viewport tag, those kind of things. But I'm pretty much ready to go. Another cool extension that would help with this is Beautify, Atom Beautify, because I can run Control Alt B as a keyboard shortcut to beautify the document. So I could do Control Alt B, and it formats the document for me nicely. So that's a quick way to get it to HTML from Markdown. So the verdict on this Markdown writer plugin is I like it. I think it's pretty cool. There's some things in the documentation that don't quite match up with my experience, at least on the Chromebook. But it's pretty cool. A lot of the commands you just run are Markdown writer. If you run Markdown writer : and you can now search through all these commands, and you'll see on the side here, it gives you these keyboard shortcuts that you can use if they are available. So a lot of them don't have keyboard shortcuts, but like the code block one is pretty cool, even though it doesn't. The headings one is great. Inserting the link, inserting an image, those are nice. The inserting a table is pretty cool, even though it doesn't have a keyboard shortcut. But if it does have a keyboard shortcut, it does let you know. So in a way, you don't really need the documentation. You could just look up the command and figure out what it is and then go from there. So the verdict is, I like this plugin. If you use Atom, try it out. See what you think. Comment in the comments below. And if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications, as it really helps the channel grow. I'm going to finish this up, so I'll be saying goodbye. Also, if you want to visit my social links, you can check the description below. But that's pretty much it. So I'll see you, and hope to see you in the next one. Have a great day.